Why is the Morgan Freeman of cricket commentary deciding to retire?
I've been doing it for a very long time, Nikhil. I started doing commentary from way back in 1991. I've been warning the world that 2020 is no good. You see what has happened this year?
That is the best joke I've heard in a long time. We all know your aversion to, let me put it mildly, to the T20 game. So that's a brilliant joke. 2020 is no good. You said it many years before any of us knew it. Let me quickly show you something. Now, this is my workstation right behind, where my laptop and I sit and work.
Yes.
And just see what's right on top of it. Can you see it?
Robert Nesta Marley.
That's correct. That's correct. I'm not as big a fan of Bob Marley as you are.
Until the philosophy that holds one race superior and another inferior is toppled, utterly destroyed. Everywhere is war, and that's what's happening now.
The most famous story about whispering death is that had he not taken to cricket, he would have gone to the Olympic Games. Now, is it an urban legend, or is it just a story that's been built up, or is it really true?
Not true at all. Well, I could have gone to the Olympics, as I've said to many people, but I'd have to have bought my ticket to get in.
Would you be kind enough to tell our viewers who have joined the famous comma in the Bankbook Story? Kev wants to know, Mikey, did you ever bowl a slower ball in your life?
Not intentionally.
Mr. Holding.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. It's like, catching the blue moon to see you on social media. It's such a rarity.
It is, definitely is.
Yeah, but I can't thank you enough for being so kind enough to have joined Instagram just to do this live. And there are so many fans of yours who've been sending me messages that, get him on social media. I don't know whether you're going to stay, but at least you've come today, and that's a big relief. I didn't mean to say good evening to you. I wanted to say wagwan, certain words that I picked up while I was in Jamaica. I've picked up a bit of Patwa. Picked up a bit of Patwa. I can speak a little bit of it on my trips in Jamaica. So I'll get to a few Patwa words a little later. You'll have to explain it to our viewers. Let me just run you through what we're going to do in the next half an hour. I've divided the interview in a few parts. First part is very nostalgic, and I want to talk to you about your career, people you've played. The second part of the interview is a bit newsy, and I'll talk to you about cricket at the moment and a few things that are happening in the cricket at the moment. And the final part is my favorite. That's the rapid fire. So I'll ask you a few rapid fire questions. That is right at the end.
I'm not very good at rapid fire, Nick.
You are brilliant, and I have worked with you, so I know that.
No, I usually have to think a little bit before I answer, so the rapid fire doesn't quite work.
No, we'll wait. I mean, all your fans would wait. We love hearing your voice.
Okay, thanks.
And so that brings me to my first question. That whatever new reports that I'm reading right now is suggesting that Michael Holding is heading towards retirement from commentary, and that's one question that I've got from most people and have asked me to ask you. Why is the Morgan Freeman of cricket commentary deciding to retire?
I've been doing it for a very long time, Nikhil. I started doing commentary from way back in 1991. This is 2020, so it's on about 29 years. I'm no longer a kid, I've been doing this thing for a long time. And as you know, I don't do cricket in the Caribbean anymore, so I am never doing cricket at home. Every game that I do is away from home. So, at age 66, I figured, it's time to slow down. And when I say slow down, I mean actually stop, because people are not going to allow you to just do a bit of commentary now and again. It's either you're doing commentary or you're not doing commentary. And this year, 2020, was my last year, because I told Sky that I wanted 2020 to my last year. But with the current situation, who knew that COVID-19 was coming along? So, more than likely, with COVID-19 destroying this summer, we'd still get cricket in England, but it won't be the same. If Sky are willing to come back next year, which I think they are, well, I'll do 2021. And I promised
Okay.
Super either as well that whatever year I did with Sky, I would finish that year with them. So if I do 2021 with Sky, I'll do the end of the year with Super Sport. And then I think more than likely that will be it, Nikhil. It's been a long time. You know, who knows how long I'm going to be living. I don't want to be working until I die.
No, no, no. Don't say that. And you know what? That's great news. You know, one thing that you've said, it's great news that you're telling us that 2020 is not going to be the end of your commentary. You're pushing it to 2021, which is great news, whether it's in South Africa, whether it's in England. So that's great. Maybe we just hope that you might change your mind once again and 2021 may become 2022 and 2023. We don't know.
One quick joke before I go on, Nikhil. I have been warning the world. I've been warning the world that 2020 is no good. You see what has happened this year?
That is the best joke I've heard in a long time. We all know your aversion to, let me put it mildly, to the T20 game. So that's a brilliant joke. 2020 is no good. You said it many years before any of us knew it. Okay, just to go on further, let me quickly show you something. Now, this is my workstation right behind, you know, where my laptop and I sit and work.
Yes.
And just see what's right on top of it. Can you see it?
Robert Nesta Marley.
That's correct. That's correct. I'm not as big a fan of you know, Bob Marley as you are, but my question is related to the circumstances that we find ourselves in at the moment, and we all know, you know, with the situation with George Floyd and, you know, Black Lives Matter, this whole thing happening at the moment. I know during your playing career you've also spoken about racism. Firstly, do you think cricket now has become more sensitive, more careful with regards to racism as it was, let's say, at the time that you were playing?
Nikhil, to be honest, I don't think individual sports are the ones that need to be worried about racism. You will get racism. People will shout things at cricket grounds, football grounds, wherever. You can't stamp out racism by tackling individual sports. You have to tackle the society. It's the people from the society who go to these grounds and go to these venues and shout racist slogans or shout racist abuse at people. You can't say, okay, somebody that goes to football will do it, but when he goes to cricket, he won't do it. You have to tackle it from the society itself, not the sport. Fine, sports can always have their rules and regulations and their conditions under which you enter the ground or you remain in the ground, but that's just a plaster on the sore. You need to tackle it from the society. The people in the society have got to understand that it is unacceptable. And then when you tackle it from the society itself, it will not then spill over into sport.
Right. And that will take time, as you're saying. It's subliminally there, you know, in your head.
Not
and
overnight.
Probably will...
It won't happen overnight. So it's something that people have to consciously talk about. People have to consciously confront. And not just African Americans who have to confront it. Other people, Caucasians, Asians, everybody has to confront all those issues and sit down and discuss them. Because it's not just black against white where you have racism and you have biases. You have racism and biases in all different aspects of life in various religions and various, not religion, various cultures and also races.
Correct, as you rightly put it. And maybe it's a good thing that everyone's talking about it, and probably that's how you can bring about a change slowly and gradually in society. I'm going to move now to your career, and I said the first bit of that interview is going to be very nostalgic. So the most famous story about Whispering Death is that had he not taken to cricket, he would have gone to the Olympic Games. Now, is it an urban legend, or is it just a story that's been built up, or is it really true?
Not true at all. Well, I could have gone to the Olympics, as I've said to many people, but I'd have to have bought my ticket to get in. I did athletics at school. I played cricket. I played football. I played table tennis. I love the various sports, and I tried them all. And it was Tony Kozia, God bless his soul, who somehow mixed up myself with a fellow called Seymour Newman. Seymour Newman and I played under-19 cricket for Jamaica and also for the West Indies. And Seymour Newman was extremely quick. Seymour Newman at that stage of our careers was yards quicker than I was. And he was also an athlete. As I said, I did athletics at school, but I wasn't an athlete. Seymour Newman was a proper athlete. Seymour Newman eventually did go to the Olympics, The first man to beat Alberto Wantarina from Cuba. As you know, he was a fantastic athlete. And somehow through the coach, because we played together and we opened the bowling together, thought I was that person that could have gone to the Olympics. No, it was Seymour Newman. And he did go to the Olympics. He did represent Jamaica. Fantastic athlete.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that particular legend that was built around Michael Olding. There's another legend from your time, and that doesn't relate to you, but another fast bowler who played alongside you, not in the same team, but internationally. I'm going to be talking about Jeff Thompson. And you know, I've had the chance to interview him, and he narrated this whole story about him winning a fast bowlers contest when he was a few beers down during Kerry. Yes, during Kerry Packer's series. So he said, I was in my jeans and, you know, you are the fastest guys and I just had few beers and they asked me come participate in the fast bowling contest. I went and I won that. I really want to know from you, was he that much more quicker than everyone around you?
Jeff Thompson was quick. I haven't seen anyone quicker than Jeff Thompson, Nikhil.
Even today?
Even today.
Okay.
If anyone has bowled quicker than Jeff Thompson, that's remarkable because the Jeff Thompson that I remember in the early 70s, mid-70s, he was extremely quick. Perhaps in youth, I was blown away by his pace because when I first saw him, I was 21, 22 years old. I know how impressionable you are as a youngster, but I wasn't just the only one. You know, there were people around in that West Indies team, Clive Lloyd and Roy Fredericks, Lawrence Rowe, Vivian Richards, who said the man was quick. And those were great batsmen. So I can't doubt that. Now, as I said, recently I've seen quick bowlers. But just that lasting impression that I've got of Jeff Thompson has blew me away. And I can't really imagine anyone bowling quicker than that. That competition that we had in Perth, though, Tom was smarter than all of us. I'm not saying he wouldn't have won otherwise, but he was smarter than all of us. Because those days, Nikhil, the technology that they had to measure people's speed. What they did, they had cameras on the ball. They knew the distance the ball had to travel because, you know, that pitch is 22 yards long. They would film it. They would time it to see how long the ball took to travel that entire distance. And they would use an average speed. Now, what Tomo did in that competition, there was no batsman, nothing. Just you run up and bowling. What Tomo did, he bowled all full tosses. So the ball did not hit the ground. And you know, once the ball hits the ground, it's going to slow down. And so the average speed for Tomo was definitely going to be a lot quicker than the average speed for anyone else. Because nobody was thinking about that. I don't even know if Tomo, somebody might have told him, because none of us were thinking about, oh, once the ball hits the ground, it's going to slow down. It's an average you're going to end up with that will then slow down. But he was very smart. He bowled full tosses.
All right, smart man that he was. He was actually banned at the time. Okay, let me show you something else since we're talking about the Kerry Packer time. And I flushed this out from the internet. I don't know if you can see this picture really well.
Yes.
This is the Western.
Wearing pink.
That's correct. My point is.
I would say, Nikhil, I would say we were wearing coral.
Coral. That's a smart way of putting it, not pink. But I tell you something. If there was one team or gentleman who could pull this pink/coral off, it was the West Indies, because they were the superstars at the time, so they could pull this pink off. If any other team was to wear this, you know, they'd get trolled and, you know, they'll get heckled by the crowd. But my question to you is, I know you didn't play too much during this time. I think you were injured, but you may have played a few games here and there. So how did they convince you to wear this pink uniform?
Well, as you said, I was injured most of that year, and I never actually played a game in that uniform. You know, I've told people they will never find a picture of me in that uniform unless they found a picture of me doing promotion, because there were some sponsors involved with World Series cricket. I don't want to call sponsors names now, you know, but there were sponsors involved, and we had to visit the sites of these sponsors. And when we visited the sites of these sponsors, we wore our day-night cricket clothing. You could wear the trousers alone with a white shirt, or wear the shirt with a white trousers, that sort of thing. And I wore those pink or coral uniforms whenever I went on promotion, but I never actually played a game.
Lucky you. I think the injury saved you in that sense. Well, great. I mean, the way things turned out. Just heading over to various legends and stories about Michael Holding. I don't think many people here are lucky enough to have heard that story. I have, because I was at a dinner where you narrated it. Would you be kind enough to tell our viewers who have joined the famous comma in the bank book story?
Well, that's about World Series cricket. World Series cricket started in 1977. I left school in 1973. I was working at a bank in Jamaica, and my salary at the bank, Nikhil, at that time was $120 a month. 120 Jamaican dollars, which at that time the Jamaican dollar was very comparable to the US dollar. So it wasn't like it was nothing at all. But if you're working $120 a month, it's going to be a long, long time before you can save anything beyond 3%. Anyway, World Series came along. I played 75, 76 in Australia. I went to England in 76, and then went to university in the end of 76. So I wasn't really playing cricket. And then World Series cricket came along. I was offered this contract. Clive Lloyd called me from Trinidad. He was in Trinidad playing in the Pakistan Test series that was going on in the Caribbean at that time, telling me about World Series cricket and telling me that Tony Gregg and a fellow called Austin Roberts would come and see me to sign me up for World Series cricket. Now, they came and told me the long story about Kerry Packer, what he owned. I had no idea who Kerry Packer was. I didn't even know too much about Channel 9 station in Australia, the magazine he owned, all that. And then they showed me how much money he was offering. And I said to them, Clive Lloyd has signed, just show me where to sign. And they said, when leaving, okay, this is not something you can talk about, but when we go away, we have some more people to go and see and sign. In about a week or two, your first 1/3, which is your down payment, will arrive in your account. Let me call my account details and all that. So they left. I wasn't allowed to say anything to anyone, but in about a week or two, I went back to the bank. Those days, they started like a savings account. Nobody at my age had a checkbook. They weren't responsible enough to have a checkbook. So you had and the savings account book I took to the bank. The same bank that I was working at downstairs in the branch, I was at the computer center. I went downstairs into the branch and pushed my bank book to the slot to the cashier and said, could you update this for me, please? And she put the book into her machine, and in those days the machine made a lot of noise, some clang, and whatever, when she pushed the buttons. She gave it back to me through the slot. When I opened the book, there was nothing. And at that point, I said to myself, I knew this was a joke. There's no way anybody's going to pay anybody this amount of money. So I went back home, waited another week or so. And then I went back. Still heard nothing in the news, so I had no confirmation that this thing was taking place. So I went back anyway with my book, pushed the book through the slot again. The lady did her usual stuff with the noise on the machine and pushed the back book through the slot. And when I opened the bank book, that is when I saw a comma in my savings account book for the very first time, which meant, of course, that the money had arrived, because there's no way I could have earned $1,000 or anything in 4 figures at that stage of my life. And the $25,000 per year, the first payment with US dollars was less than the Australian dollar at that time. The Australian dollar was bigger than US. And 1/3 of the money that they were paying for the first year is what they said they would send to me. And the 1/3 when converted US dollars was just about $9,000 US. And when I saw that money in my bank account, I thought to myself, wow, it's for real. Because those days, you could have bought a second-hand car, which I did, for about $7,000. So you know how much money that was those days.
Right. That's a legendary story, comma in the bank book. With that kind of money, I think if you'd continue to work in the bank, it would have taken you 9 years or so to have, got that kind of money over a period of 9 years.
For sure, and you unless you're not paying bills as well. If you're paying bills, you're getting there.
That is true. That is true. Lovely to see some more friends joining in. Ratsa is also here. Hi. Utsav, he's my brother-in-law, is also joined. Hi, lovely to see you guys. Okay, Mr. Holding, now I'll turn my attention to some contemporary cricket. And I've been watching your YouTube channel. Great stuff there. So I'll tell all my viewers, please go to his YouTube channel and see all the contemporary things that he talks about. So I heard you talk about the Saliva Ban, so I won't ask you about that in particular. But I had the privilege of speaking to Anil Kumble just a few days back, and during my interview he mentioned that okay, now because he's part of the ICC Cricket Committee heading that, he said that fine, the saliva ban is here to stay. If you really want to balance things out, why don't you play with the pitches? You know, if you really want to balance things out in the favor of a bowler, so the saliva ban is there. Play with the pitches, make the pitches more conducive to bowlers, and that's how you can bring about the balance in the no saliva ban sort of an era. What did you make of that suggestion? And his other bit that he said along with that was that even if there's no saliva, let's bring in the spinners. Why can't we have two spinners playing the game? In Senna countries, we don't get spinners, so let the ball get old, let there be no saliva, let two spinners play for a change. What did you make of these two suggestions by Anil?
Well, first of all, Nikhil, I don't think the saliva ban is a serious problem as far as the game is concerned. I think the problem with this saliva ban is that the cricketers will take some time to adjust. It's a natural reaction. You're out there on the field, you want to shine the ball, you naturally just do that. That is natural. They will have to practice so that they don't do it. The saliva that you apply to the ball, Nikhil, if you're doing it honestly and fairly, it's just saliva. If you are sucking sweets, then you get a bit more than saliva onto the ball. But all you need to do is to get moisture onto the ball. And you can get that from your perspiration. You can get that from sweat. You don't have to use your saliva. So the perspiration added to the ball, whether it's off your forehead, off your forearm, wherever, will do the same job as the saliva. And I haven't heard anyone say anything that COVID-19 can be spread via perspiration. So I don't see a tactical problem with banning the saliva. It's just a logistical problem of people being accustomed to doing it and will have to practice not doing it. I don't believe in interfering with pitches. Pitches should be prepared so that bat and ball have an even contest. I don't think when you tell a groundsman, oh, make the pitch a little bit more spicy, that will help the bowlers. Some groundsmen might not be good enough, Nikhil, to do exactly what's required, and then the match gets spoiled. So I prefer to leave the groundsmen to do their jobs to the best of their ability to produce a pitch that gives an even balance between bat and ball, and just to try and coach the players into not putting their fingers in their mouth. That's all.
Okay. Well, that's a very interesting perspective. Actually, no one thought of that. Perspiration is something that you can use, as you mentioned. Why just talk about saliva and even artificial substance at that? Okay, I'm going to now turn my attention to your favorite subject, and that is T20 cricket. As I said right at the start.
I thought you were going to say horse racing.
Oh, I didn't know you're big into horse racing, because I love horse racing too, by the way. So we can exchange notes.
That's my favorite subject.
Ah, okay. Maybe next time I'll come prepared with some horse racing questions. But for the moment, I'm getting back to T20, and it's not directly about T20 cricket. My question to you is, as things stand right now, it seems like that the one-day game, and especially bilateral one-day series, may be dead. And I know that you've advocated the fact that continue with Test cricket and continue with one-day cricket. But as things are turning out right now, it may seem that Test cricket may continue and the shorter format may become T20 cricket, and that would sacrifice one-day cricket, especially in bilateral series. We're beginning to see not too many countries play one day. They want to... Sorry, did I lose you there? Okay, I'm back now.
You froze for a few seconds, but it wasn't long.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm back with you. It is a bit of an internet connection. My question to you is, how do you save one-day cricket? Because at the moment, it seems like the least favored format for everyone, from cricket administrators to probably even players.
Well, the problem with 50-over cricket, Nikhil, is that people's attention span is getting shorter and shorter. You give them 2020 cricket, they tend to enjoy the razzmatazz and the excitement of 2020 cricket. And people have kept on coming to me with, whenever I said, oh, I'm not in favor of that form of the game, telling me that's excitement, that's what the people want. And I said to them, long before you had your first ever 10-10 game, you will soon find people getting bored with 2020, and you will see people starting to play 10-10. And they laughed, oh, you'll never see 10-10, that's too short. And I can say to you as well, Nikhil, at some point, I might not be alive, you're going to get to 5-5. People with short attention spans will be attracted to that, but it is my belief that you should not just cater to people with short attention spans. if they cannot adjust to the longer form of the game, you can't just keep on getting shorter and shorter. People might then say, oh, the World Cup final, the super over was so fantastic. Why don't we have a lot more games of just one over and see who is the best team or who can perform the best in that one over? We can't keep on going in that direction. When World Series cricket, which we were talking about earlier on, started, 1976, that's 43 years ago. One of Kerry Packer's main men involved in World Series cricket, I don't want to be calling any names. When we had that day-night game that was sold out, and Kerry Packer went to the ground in Sydney and said to them, open the gates, let the people in. He said then and there, Test cricket is dead. This is the new form that everybody will want to see. 50-over cricket and day-night cricket. That's 43 years ago. Test cricket is still going. 50-over cricket is now the one that's more likely, as you said, to disappear. These things are just things people get acquainted to, people get accustomed to, people get attracted to. But if you keep on going in that direction of shortening and shortening the game, you'll be left with nothing. So I cannot agree with you keep on shortening the game. And I don't think the ICC will ever get rid of 50-over cricket because that's one of their biggest earners as far as television is concerned. 50-over cricket, 50-over tournaments, ICC make a lot of money off that. It's a package. Yes, I know that they sell to the broadcasters, 50-over and 20-over and whatever. But I'm absolutely sure if they get rid of the 50-over tournament, their money they're getting from broadcasters will be slashed drastically.
So we've got Mohammad Kaif, the Indian cricketer, joining on the chat, and he says, interesting conversation, guys. Thanks, Kaifu, for watching this. Do send in if you have a question, and I'll try and put it to Mikey. But Mikey, final question before I get into the...
Well.
You do?
I remember him well. Yeah, I enjoyed watching him, believe me.
Okay, great. I'm sure he'd be happy to hear that. Final question before I get into the rapid fire. I always wondered how would Michael Holding bowl to the present day batsmen? You know, the likes of Rohit Sharma, which like to pull the ball even if at good length, they'll pull it for a 6, or someone like AB de Villiers who'll shuffle across the crease, pull you 360 degrees. How would a Michael Holding deal with such batsmen?
Nikhil, I think depending on the pace that you have got, you'll see batsmen playing particular shots. Those shots and those people that you're talking about, I would like to see them play those shots against someone of real pace. A Dale Steyn, for instance, of modern times, or a Brett Lee of time not too long ago, a Shoaib Akhtar. If they can play a shot like that against that pace, then I'll start worrying about what I'm going to do. But at the moment, the pace that I know I bowl at, I wouldn't be too worried about some of those shots being tried at my bowling. Helmet or not.
All right. Okay, fair point. Fair point. 150 clicks, everyone is scared. You know, that's the normal saying in cricket.
Scared. I wouldn't say necessarily scared. I don't think those guys will be scared. But they'll be careful about the shots that they attempt, because at that pace, you can't afford to make mistakes.
Yep. True. Fair enough. And the reaction time is so less. You have no time to think. So, you know, how you're going to play. Okay, now to my favorite part, and not your favorite part. That's the rapid fire. So take your time, Mr. Holding, as much as you want. Nothing, you know, there's really need to hurry up. It doesn't have to be as fast as your bowling. The best fast bowler, the complete fast bowler in the present generation. I can give you a few options, or you could pick one, you know, between Cummins, Jofra, Bumrah, Stark, anyone that you think.
I've been very impressed with Cummins over the last couple of years. I saw him in South Africa 2017, 18, I think it was, and then I saw him last year in England. And he looked a fantastic bowler in South Africa, and he progressed even further when I saw him again in England. I would have to say that he is definitely the man at the moment. Before he came along, I was a huge fan of Dale Steyn. I think he was a great bowler. And the last couple of years, with his injury and all that, he wasn't as dynamic as you would like. But before he got that injury, he was top class for me. I think he was the best fast bowler I've seen in the last 10 years.
Wow. Okay, that's a big compliment for Dale Steyn. My next question, this is a tough one, or maybe not too tough for you. Pick one, Viv Richards or Brian Charles Lara?
Viv Richards. Before you even call the second name, I would say Viv Richards. Didn't matter which other name you call, Nikhil.
Okay, fair enough. Now pick the 5 batsmen you think in Test cricket today. I'll name 2 that will be part of your list. I'll name 2: Steve Smith, Virat Kohli. Okay, you just need to pick 3 other that you think are good. I can give you some options who are the top rated.
No. Before I can pick 2 others without even thinking. Joe Root and Shane Williamson.
Right, super. So the 5th is going to be tough. So I can give you a few options.
Yes.
Between Babar Azam, there's Cheteshwar Pujara, there's David Warner, there's Ajinkya Rahane. These are in the top 10 of the ICC ranking. So there's some that I've named.
Yeah, I don't usually pay too much attention to ICC rankings. I prefer to look at cricketers and make my own assessment. I have seen some cricketers, Nikhil, at the top of ICC ranking, batting and bowling, and I think to myself, he is #1 in the world. The world must be struggling.
That's true.
So,
that is true.
The 5th batsman, let me think.
Okay, we'll get back to it later.
To be honest, Ben Stokes, I think is going to be a top-class batsman. He's already a top-class player. I think he could end up a great batsman.
Okay, great. We'll take Ben Stokes there. Okay, great. Who's the best white ball batsman in international cricket today? Is it Rohit Sharma or is it Virat Kohli?
No, once you call Virat Kohli's name, I ain't going anywhere. When you call his name, I'm not listening for whoever the second person is. You call Virat Kohli, I'll just stick with that. But when you say white ball, as you know, I don't watch 2020. So I'm only talking about 50-over cricket.
ODI. Yeah. Got that. I was going to ask my next question, but Kev has got a question for you. A very interesting one, so I'll put that to you right now. Kev wants to know, Mikey, did you ever bowl a slower ball in your life?
Not intentionally. Not in Test cricket anyway. I bowl slower balls in one-day cricket, in 50-over cricket and in domestic one-day cricket. But I never ever bowl a slower ball intentionally in Test cricket. If it came out slow, it's just one of those things that just everything quite click. But I never thought about bowling slower balls in Test cricket.
Okay. Now to the best all-rounder. We all know the best all-rounder to play the game before you started playing was Sir Garfield Sobers. The best all-rounder after you finished playing the game was Jacques Kallis. But now I'm going to ask you, who was the best all-rounder while you were playing between Botham, Hadley, Kapil and Imran?
That's a difficult one.
Okay.
Botham has some fantastic figures, but not so much against the West Indies. Botham didn't perform a lot against the West Indies, which, in my opinion and a few other people's opinion, they were the best team around at the time. While Kapil Dev did, Imran Khan did, Hadley did to a lesser degree. But I wouldn't be able to pick one out of that, to be honest. Those guys had good times at the various times.
Okay. The last few ones won't be tough for you because this has got the Caribbean flavor. So you got to tell me your favorite Bob Marley song.
War, which is very apt at the moment. If you go and check the words of that, they apply to what's happening in the world today. Until the philosophy that holds one race superior and another inferior is toppled, utterly destroyed, everywhere is war. And that's what's happening now. We cannot have one race considering themselves superior to another. We are all human beings.
Mr. Holding, do you know you've made my day by singing those lines? And not just my day, I'm guessing everyone who's on live right now, by humming those lines for us, you just made my day. It was brilliant, I have to say that. But since we're on the subject of Bob Marley, if you were to use a Bob Marley song to describe Virat Kohli, since he's the best all-format batsman right now, which one would you use?
Buffalo Soldier.
Buffalo Soldier. I thought as much. For those of you who don't know, Buffalo Soldier is about this guy who's continuing to fight. When everyone around him is down, he's the guy who's fighting. So that's the Bob Marley song.
Oh, yes.
That's a brilliant selection there. Okay. This is a tough one. So the best Caribbean island, but you can't include Jamaica in this. So other than Jamaica, because that's your home island, other than Jamaica, the second best Caribbean island according to you.
Let me look and see if my wife is around. No, she isn't. She's from Antigua, so
okay.
She want me to say Antigua. But if you're talking about a holiday, My best Caribbean island to go on a holiday is St. Lucia. I've always loved that island. It's a beautiful island. Lots of mountains, rivers, beautiful beaches, some nice restaurants. I have always enjoyed St. Lucia. Grenada is not far behind. You know, St. Lucia is a beautiful island.
Yep, it is indeed. But I know you didn't ask me that, but I'll still say it anyway. My favorite Caribbean island, and I've been there 3 times to the West Indies, and I've been to all islands there. My favorite Caribbean island is Jamaica. And I tell people that because it may not be the most beautiful, but it's the one with the maximum amount of character. You know, the thing that you hear there, it's got the best music. It's got Bob Marley from there. And the most interesting thing, it's the only island where people say, yeah, man. Nowhere else in Caribbean you'll hear them say, yeah, man, as they say in Jamaica. So that's my favorite Caribbean island. Yeah.
It's a beautiful island as well, though, Nikhil. It's just that it's so big. It's a lot bigger than the other English-speaking islands in the Caribbean. Unless you know someone that can take you to some beautiful spots. Rafting on the Rio Grande, have you ever done that? Anyone going to Jamaica needs to go and do rafting on the Rio Grande. That is a fantastic experience. It's a beautiful island. Going to Don River Falls. Oh, wow. There are so many beautiful spots. It's a huge island. And most people come in there for cricket. They come to Kingston, so they hardly venture outside of the major city.
Yeah, that's true. I've been to Kingston and Montego Bay, 2 places because of cricket. You travel, and Montego Bay is beautiful. I have to say that. Final question before I let you go, and we're on the subject of Jamaica. And I said right at the start that I'm going to talk to you about patois. So tell us 5 patois words that everyone needs to know when they land in Jamaica for a holiday.
Well, you mentioned one earlier on, not really a word, an expression, wagwan.
Wagwan,
which which basically is just asking if everything is okay.
Yeah, what's up?
And if you are fine, the one word answer to that is Irie, meaning everything is good. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll tell you an expression that I learned very early in my days as a youth in Jamaica. Whenever I went out into the Clarendon, which is where my grandmother was from, up in Colonel's Ridge. Everybody knew everybody in that region. And when I went there on holiday, a few people, because I didn't live there, didn't know me. And the question that they would ask, because that is how things happened in those days in Jamaica. You're talking about going back probably 55 years, 50-something years. People would see on the road and they would say, a fool are your pa.
Okay.
Nobody outside of Jamaica would understand that. A fool are your pa. What they're asking is, who is your father? Because that is how they knew people. Who is your father? That's a relation. Who is your father? Once they know who your father is, they know exactly what family you are from.
You come from.
It's not used that often, or I haven't heard it in Jamaica for donkey's years. But that's one of the first expressions I learned when I went out into the rural areas visiting my grandmother. A four-year-pa. It sounded so beautiful coming off the lips. A four-year-pa.
I'll remember that. But as you said, not being used. So those are what, 4 words we've done? 4 of them. One final word.
Couple of expressions, not really words.
Yeah, sure.
Another thing that people say in Jamaica is, yeah, man. You must have heard that.
Yeah, man. Correct.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Wagwan, yeah, man, Irie. And of course, everything cool.
Everything cool. That's correct.
Yeah, that's where they got the name for that. Remember that bobsled movie that they did?
Bobsled. Cool running. Cool running.
Yes.
Yep.
That's where the expression, the name for the movie came from. Cool runnings. Everything cool.
Everything cool, man. Yep. Yeah. That's again one of my favorite films. I've been to the Cool Runnings Cafe in Montego Bay. They've got that nice cafe there. I don't know if it's still there, but it used to be there at the time that I traveled.
Yeah.
But Mr. Holding, thank you so much for being kind enough to have joined me on this chat and giving your precious time. I had a great time talking.
No problem, Nikhil.
And I miss those days when I was in England and with Mr. Gavaskar and you and doing those shows. But hopefully, if we get cricket back, and even if you're not commentating, maybe I may do another show and we'd have all of you back. And I'd love to do that sometime in the future.
Every summer, Sonia and myself get together in England. You know, not too sure about this summer, but every summer over the past probably 15, 20 years, we always get together in England. So if you come back to that side of the world during the summer, I'm sure we can get to organize a show somewhere.
We'll do that. We'll do it at his Swiss cottage apartment that I know where he stays. I've visited him a couple of times.
Exactly, exactly. And it's close to one of the best Chinese restaurants in England. In the same Swiss cottage area on Finchley Road.
Finchley Road, yeah. Okay.
It's called Green Cottage in case your fans want to go and visit it.
Okay, super. Green Cottage on Finchley Road when I'm in England next. Hopefully I'll take you out for dinner if I'm there and I catch up.
Okay, look forward to that.
Okay, Mr. Holdy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye and have a good time. See ya.
You too, Nikhil. Take care.
Thanks. Bye. You too. Bye. Bye.